Hey everyone, welcome to Fighting Over the Card Catalog, a snarky look back on young adult novels of the 80s and 90s. I'm Jess.
I'm Steven, and I'm here to make my wife happy.
We're taking a journey to find out how many terrible and hopefully some not so terrible books from my youth I can get my husband to read before he reconsiders this whole marriage. Hi.
Hey, babe.
Hey, babe.
Did you have a good weekend?
I had the best weekend. I had the best birthday weekend with you and our besties in Shakespeare in the park.
Yeah.
And there was a dog, y'all. There was a dog in a Shakespeare ruffled collar, and it was wonderful. And I got I got a few very cool presents from you, but you got me business cards for the podcast, and they look like card catalog cards. I put them on our Instagram earlier today.
Oh, nice.
So yes. How's the weekend for you?
That was good. Good weekend.
Good weekend.
Yeah, like hanging out with the houses.
I like the houses, even though they are severely behind on our podcast. It'll be months before they hear this. So this week, we're finishing up my Sweet Audrina, and we're getting into the really fucked up bits. So we did the book blurb last week. Y'all should know where we are. Thoughts on part 2 for you?
I can't believe how many times I've shaken my head and said, "What the fuck?" to this book. The fact that you enjoyed this book so much as a 13-year-old. I can kind of see it.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, 13-year-olds should not be reading this book, but...
Really?
Yeah.
You would censor books like that?
Well...
Got you.
I can't say yes to that, but... the themes may be a little more adultish. Yeah. Maybe I should say they shouldn't read this on their own.
Oh. There's not a chance in hell I would have read this with my parents.
Yeah,
knowing.
That they should have somebody they can discuss these things with.
Oh, no.
With a more mature individual.
Yeah, but it'd have to be a pretty chill adult individual.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not most parents. I am pretty sure most parents of middle school, high schoolers who were reading this had no idea.
No, obviously.
Yeah. All right, so now that you've read it, on a scale of number 1, best book ever, to Dementor's Kiss of 10, what do you think of it?
The Dementor's Kiss of Death, number 10.
Yeah.
I would say I'm going to give it probably a 4.
Okay.
Because it was, even though it was very messed up, it was still, at times it was like, how bad can it get? And I wanted to see how bad it could get.
Exactly.
So it was entertaining in that sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like train wreck soap operas of books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really makes me wonder about the mental state of
Cleo Victoria Andrews.
Yes, and
for sure.
I mean, it's like, okay, well, surely you'll discuss key points, and we can make.
Nah, this is it. We got shit to do. This is the end of the podcast for today. Bye. No. Reading it now. I don't know. Probably a 4 or 2. Because, I mean, it's a journey. And it is a story. Maybe a 5. I don't know. It's really hard to judge it now.
She probably could have cut out a good third of the book. And still made the reader just as anxious and gotten all the points across just as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can see bumping it up another just for that.
Yeah. A 5.
Yeah, just for the...
Same. So, last we left our dear Adare family. Lucky had just died in childbirth. And so to keep her memory alive, Audrina starts taking piano lessons with Lamar Rensdale at his home.
And her dad was very much against it. And her friend, what's his name?
Arden?
Arden, okay. Arden was saying that you should, if that's something you want to do.
Yeah, so Damien gives in and actually lets her go over to this man's home, which is shocking for piano lessons. But Vera has to go as well. But for her, it's more about being around a man.
Yeah.
Yeah. But of course, Audrina is just fucking wonderful piano player. She's so gifted right away, as most B.C. Andrews protagonists are. Other than that, Audrina, she really starts to begin to wonder why she's not allowed inside Arden and Billy's house. So one day, Arden eventually brings her in, and he's very uncomfortable. He didn't even ask to take her coat. Audrina is shocked. But she eventually learns the terrible secret. Billy used to be like this world-class champion, Olympic champion figure skater. What? And Audrina's like, why would you keep this a secret? Oh, it's because she got an infection on her leg from a skate cut from her skate, and that never healed properly due to diabetes. And so eventually both legs had to be amputated. That is a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know the realism of that back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, like Thoreau's, that was back in the 1800s, though. His brother got a cut from a razor and died.
They didn't understand germ theory then, though.
Yeah.
I figure this had to be in the 50s, 60s, if the book starts in 71.
I can see that.
Yeah, so they understand more things then. But what really gets me is Billy says, I hadn't been to a doctor all during my career. Bullshit! You are an Olympic athlete. There is no way you're not seeing... I mean, even then, I know training isn't as intense. Wasn't as intense as it is now, but girl, come on. But anyway, she's saying that to say we never knew I had diabetes until the cut. So, okay. And there's a lot of gross ableist shit from here on out, talking about shame and everything. I mean, there's lots of shame everywhere in this book. But, yeah. And apparently wheelchairs haven't been invented in this world.
Huh.
Like, I get her using her high stool, like, to get around the kitchen on wheels. That actually makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I mean, there's nary a wheelchair in sight or even spoken of.
Well, I wonder if it's like an ability to get into the chair by herself. Mm-hmm. Like, that might be an issue. And that's why she goes around on the little roller.
Yeah, she goes around on the little roller, which actually, I mean, I know it's a plot device for later on. But, I mean, she gets from that up onto a high stool.
Yeah.
She's like, her arms are like super strong. So, I mean, I sure as hell couldn't do that.
Maybe it's just everywhere she goes, the doors are too narrow.
Oh, maybe so.
Because that is an
makes
issue.
Sense. That is a major issue. Okay, let's go with that. Thank you. And Audrina really starts coming off as privileged and judgy. When she comes through the door, she's like, I mean, it's paragraphs of saying, oh, this house is so small. And there aren't any stained glass windows. And dead leaves came in the door with us. And it's just very... Bleh. So anyways, that's Billy's deal. More than 2 years after she was born, Sylvia finally comes home from the hospital. And turns out the reason she's been kept away is because she's mentally challenged. Of course, there's a lot of really problematic language surrounding Sylvia that I'm just not even going to get into because there is just a lot. Yeah. But Sylvia's absolutely gorgeous, of course. I mean, that's like a really big theme throughout this whole book. It's like the pretty people are so good, or at least to be respected, and ugly people, like certain boys later on, are ugly. And I think that's a big theme through all her books. But
Yeah, and of course, the cousin doesn't like her and makes fun of her, and
oh yeah, she's absolutely terrible about her.
Yeah,
and uses most of the very horrible, problematic language. But Vera's delighted when Damien insists that Audrina take care of her. Take care of Sylvia. Like, you wanted her so bad? Here, she's yours. She's all your responsibility. At 12, I think, 11, 12, Audrina's at right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Audrina's building this relationship with her piano teacher, Lamar, and she complains to him about how she's not allowed to go to school. And he eventually intervenes, and Audrina's allowed to go.
He intervenes by going to Vera.
Yeah.
And telling Vera that he's going to tell the authorities that she's not going to school because it's a law that you have to go to school as a kid. Sorry. So Vera talks to Damien and gets him to agree to finally let her go to school.
Yeah. And Elsbeth, just like very begrudgingly, says she'll take care of Sylvia while she's at school. Then it turns out Rensdale is going to be leaving for New York. And as she goes to tell him goodbye, Audrina sees the affair between Vera and Lamar happening for herself.
Yeah, she's been doing stuff through the book to try to get his attention. Yeah. So,
like the bee sting under her boob. Like, oh, please get the stinger out for me.
And he resisted.
He did.
At first, I guess.
But Vera has her way.
Yeah.
So Vera tells him during this, while Audrina's watching, that she's pregnant. And she's like, you have to take me with you. And then they angry fuck. And Audrina watches the whole thing.
And it's not only that, it's what starts it. Okay, do you remember?
No.
Vera's trying to get him, because he's telling her, he tells Vera that he's leaving and he's not taking her with him. Mm-hmm. So she starts saying, no, you've got to take me with you. And then she starts trying to seduce him. And he's like, no, I'm not going to do it. And then she says something about, just say it. And he starts talking to her talking to Vera like she's Audrina.
Oh, and right.
That gets him aroused. Ugh. And like, Audrina sees this.
Yeah. But so Vera, as she gets home later, she has figured out that Audrina knows all about it and saw everything. Because Audrina brought him like a note and cufflinks, and she left him there. And Vera's like, you dumb shit. But she like confronts her, and she gets in a fight with her. And Vera ends up falling and has a miscarriage. And it's a really fucking disturbing scene. Audrina goes down to get Elsbeth, who doesn't believe her at first. She's like, she'll be fine. She always falls down and shit. But she finally makes her come back up there. And Vera is just like kneeling and crawling around in all this blood and everything. And it goes, my aunt glanced down at the blood. If you lost it, better so. Demented looking, Vera's eyes went wild and her fingers curled around one huge clot of blood that she hurled at her mother. It struck my aunt's apron and fell to the floor with a sickening clump. I mean, that's some descriptive writing. Thank you very much, VC. But although that is something I want to have the urge to do, to
throw clumps of blood at me?
Not at you. No, at pro-life politicians and shit. Like, you want to be all up in my uterus so bad? Here. It's something I think about a lot. I'm sorry. Anyway.
You wish you could throw your uterus at them?
I wish I could throw a tampon at them. I use tampons sometimes. Yeah.
That'd probably be considered deadly attempt.
Yeah, it's contamination or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's bodily fluids. Very much so. But it's something I think about a lot. Anyways, they tell her, Elspeth tells Vera to like clean it up, and she doesn't. And Audrina gets like so upset about that. Vera didn't even make an effort to clean my rug of all that blood. She just left it for me to do. Yeah, she's terrible and all, but my dude, she just had a miscarriage.
Yeah, like Elizabeth's big thing was just don't tell Damien. Don't tell
Damien. Yeah. But anyway, she's feeling well enough to leave town the next day with Lamar Rinsdale anyway.
And all the jewelry in the house, apparently.
She stole all the jewelry and a good amount of Audrina's clothes. Not all of it, though. She left the shitty stuff. And she also left a note stating that she is, in fact, Audrina's paternal half-sister, due to an affair that Elspeth had with Damien before he met Lucky. So that's cool. And Damien doesn't deny any of this, and he's just like, good riddance. And Audrina's upset with him that he's, acted so horribly to her, especially if, she's his daughter. But Damien's all like, she hates us all and would destroy us all if she were given the chance. And Elspeth's like, yeah, he right. The years go by a little bit, and Arden's going to college soon, and Audrina's like 13, 14 at this point. And he finally kisses her, and of course, it's highly disturbing. He says things like, sometimes when I look at you and see how lovely you've become, it makes my heart hurt. And after he kisses her, he says, I'm sorry if I shocked you, but I just couldn't help myself. 1,000,000 times I've held back. This time I couldn't. Audrina's like, then I was sorry. Then he tells her, are you going to be a pushover? My mother was like that, and tells her that she was married 3 times. Billy, that hussy.
I was hoping you wouldn't be a pushover. Then I know you really love me.
Yeah. Oh, God. And the second Audrina still hates the first Audrina for making her ashamed to be a girl.
It's so sad that the culture of the 70s was so ingrained in people that even female writers are putting this as just the norm.
Patriarchy, my dude.
Yeah.
So some more time passes, and Audrina discovers that, Damien and Elsbeth are banging again. But they get, that's a pretty tempestuous affair, I suppose. Elsbeth isn't totally happy. And so she threatens to leave Damien, because she gets a letter from Vera. She's in New York and alone, because Lamar Rinsdale committed suicide. Elsbeth wants to go to her and help her out. And Damien's like, no. And he like, it was Vera's fault he committed suicide, right? Dude.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Like that was not a surprise at all.
No. It's like, we all should have seen that coming, obviously. Arden proposes to Audrina the Christmas before he graduates college and she graduates high school. Audrina's hesitant to accept Arden's proposal because he never pays one damn bit of attention to Sylvia. And Sylvia's always there. He's not mean to her, but he never interacts with her at all. Damien and Elsbeth get into another fight. This time Elsbeth says, I'm leaving, and she demands what's hers because half that house is hers. So Damien writes her a check. Before going to bed, Audrina puts that check up on a corkboard. Then she comes down the next morning, and oh shit, Elsbeth is found dead from a mysterious fall down the stairs. She's all dressed up in her traveling outfit, but the check is gone, and Audrina thinks she heard the back door closed as she was getting up. Is it this one already they start suspecting Sylvia pushed her? I forget.
She wonders. Because as she starts screaming or whatever, Sylvia comes down the hallway with the prism, and it shines in her eyes, and it kind of makes her wonder.
Yeah, that's one thing we skipped over. So Audrina's given Sylvia these prisms, like in Pollyanna, which is how I always see them, that will reflect the light and make pretty colors and stuff. And Sylvia loves them, but she's learned how to shine them in people's eyes. So yeah, Audrina thinks that might be what happened with Elsbeth and why she fell down the stairs. So literally that day, in the confusion with Elsbeth's death and everything, Audrina elopes with Arden because that's what you do. But she's mad at her dad because he's all controlling and shit. And she takes Sylvia with her, even though Arden's not so big on that idea. But after this, I'm not so big on Arden either. The wedding night is fucking terrible. Please remember, Audrina has been, conditioned all her life to be scared of sex and boys and all that. And Arden's like, you shouldn't be scared. We've known each other for forever. And it's like, yeah, Arden, you should know the way she's been raised and how fucked up she is and have a little bit of compassion, you dumb shit. I understand he just wants to get it on, and he says things like, have you stopped loving me already, Audrina? Boy, fuck all the way off. Go fuck yourself, but no, instead of fucking himself, he rapes Audrina, essentially, because consent is never given at all. And during it,
she was crying.
Yeah.
And he didn't even notice, he was so into whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, but personally, I don't know how you can enjoy sex if the other person is not enjoying it, how that's possible.
That's because you're a very good person.
To be so clueless as to not even notice that she's crying.
Yeah. And I mean, I get it. I mean, I don't get it, but I understand that he's really just needing to fuck her. But he still loves her at this point. I mean, you would still notice how she is, my dude.
Yeah.
You know? And throughout all this, she's really crying a lot because she has horrible rocking chair flashbacks, seeing the first Audrina get raped. And gets that all mixed up with the present. And it's this whole fucked up, horrible night.
Yeah.
But Arden gets off and it's great for him. So they come back from their honeymoon and they find that, Damien has charmed Billy and moved her in at Whitefern. And what?
I mean, as soon as he said she heard a woman's voice or something else, he went and got his phone.
Nice. And he also offers Arden a job at his company. It's just, obviously, this is all Damien manipulating things to keep control over Audrina's life, but still come off as, a good guy. Look, I'm offering my home, I'm offering a job, I'm such a great guy. You can't be upset, Audrina.
Arden was like, you must be wrong about your dad.
Yeah, see, I mean, that's just perfect.
I think you've just been exaggerating this whole time.
That's how narcissists do, though. That is classic narcissism.
Yeah.
That's just as much as fucking over the person they're abusing. They're tricking everybody else to make the victim seem crazy to themselves and everyone else. But Audrina is disappointed in Billy, too, that she's been tricked into believing that he's all so wonderful. But she wants everything to be happy, so she does try to just go along with it. Have a peaceful life. Things are kind of going okay. Not good in the bedroom, so Arden's a little pissy all the time. But Billy and Audrina are getting along. Sylvia begins to talk a little bit, which is very exciting. But then Vera returns, looking rich as hell. And Damien orders her to leave, but Billy's like, what are you doing? How can you be so cold-hearted? And convinces him to let Vera stay. And not long after that, we all discover that Billy and Damien have been fucking. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Again, Audrina's watching all this through a keyhole and eventually bursts in on them, which is super dope. Audrina, I know you got problems, girl, but dang.
The reason why she went to his room to begin with was because Arden had found out that...
Oh, that's right.
Damien had been embezzling money from clients and using it to make himself rich and then putting the money back. And also he had been taking old stocks that people came to ask him if it was worth anything, and he'd say, "No, it's not really worth anything." But I'd like to hang that on my wall in my office if you don't mind.
And it's like a freaking Union Pacific stock or something, and it's like
worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yeah.
And so, because Arden, although he's down with marital rape, he is not for embezzling.
Yeah.
And he's very upset by it. So Audrina's like, all right, I'm going to go talk to him. And then that's when she discovers them. Audrina's totally disgusted, and she tries to talk Billy into leaving.
No, she tries to make her leave.
Make her.
She tells her she has to leave.
Yeah. Okay.
And then Damien said, no, she could stay here as long as I'm here.
That's right.
Yeah.
And Billy's like, he's made me feel like a woman again. And
yeah. Yeah, so, afterward, Billy went to her and was trying to explain to her that
he makes me feel so wonderful.
Yeah. And
I'm a whole woman again.
And he's a real man. None of my other husbands have been a real man.
Although, I mean, her last husband did leave her as soon as she had her second leg amputated. Yeah. So really, fuck that guy, too.
Yeah.
So Audrina thinks it'd be a great idea to take Sylvia out into the river. And all of a sudden she realizes, oh, I can't find her. But hey, that means she's trying to play hide and seek like we've been trying to do. This is wonderful. So she goes looking for her in the woods. And, I mean, what's she think going to happen? She can't find Sylvia and completely freaks out in the woods. And when she gets back to the house, oh dear, Billy's fallen down the same steps and has also died. And, yeah, Audrina totally suspects that Sylvia might have pushed her because they didn't get along so great themselves.
And she was always trying to get her her little roller thing.
Yeah, her little low roller cart.
And they kept yelling at her not to take the roller, the cart. Uh-huh. And as she's dead and holding Billy, she hears Sylvia rolling around.
Cart's mine now, bitches.
Rolling around on her cart.
But of course, Audrina keeps her suspicions to herself. But she's very depressed, and she gets like the worst cold of her life. Poor Audrina. And she starts pulling away from Arden and Sylvia. And during this time, Vera's all seducing Arden, and they begin an affair because, of course. And at first, Audrina doesn't care, but then Arden and Audrina get in like this really big fight, and he threatens to leave her for Vera, and all of a sudden, her sexuality awakens. You know, she doesn't want to lose him to Vera after losing so many other things, and they have like the very first happy night of their marriage. Then she wakes up in the middle of the night and goes to check on Sylvia and finds herself in the first Audrina's room. And she sits in that damn rocking chair. She has some very clear visions of the day the first Audrina died, which includes Arden being one of the boys there, not raping her. But he sees what happens and runs away. And she's really confused by all this and goes back to her room to confront Arden. But oh dear, in the hallway, she's pushed down those fucking stairs. Mm-hmm. She survives the fall. She's
blinded by a light.
Yes.
And then she's trying to get away from whatever, trying to see again, and she's pushed down the stairs. And
thrown into a coma. She wakes up much later. And she can hear other people talking about her, but can't speak or move for herself. Although she can open her eyes sometimes. But not on purpose. It just happens. So she overhears Vera and Arden are totes lovers again. And Arden is distraught because he needs Vera. I mean, his Audrina's gone. She's just in a vegetative state. He needs her. And so Vera tries to convince Arden to disconnect Audrina's life support, saying that, like, Audrina is never going to recover and she wouldn't want to live like this. While she was gone, apparently Vera became a nurse, so apparently she has it helps her sway over Arden.
She's a registered nurse.
Yeah. And Audrina's getting, as she's still in a coma, she's like getting more and more disappointed in Arden and thinking about how he'd failed the first Audrina too when she needed him most. And that's when I knew Arden was mine to punish, not Vera. One day, Arden's off at work. It's been like months at this point. And Vera brings in these cookies that Sylvia loves and somehow attaches them to the cord powering the life support up under the bed. And then she leaves and Sylvia goes to get the cookies, unplugging the life support system. It's great. And Audrina's like fucking dying. But I don't know how she gets any strength at all to like live. But she gets Sylvia's help to push her away and hide her away from Vera on Billy's little cart under the bed in the first Audrina's room, and it's super duper creepy. And they find her and
take her to the hospital.
Yeah.
So she wakes up again in the hospital.
Yeah. She's super angry with Arden.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Right.
She tells him
it's been 3 months and he's thinking about he can't just tell Vera, no, I love my wife. No, he's still having sex with her while she's in a coma.
Yeah, because
and can't make up his mind whether he wants to go with Vera.
What should I do? Yeah, he says after Audrina tells him, she wants Vera out of the house. Good fucking reason. He says, what the hell do you think I'm made of? You were in a coma, and Vera was there, willing to do what she could to help me survive. Boy, you are a piece of shit.
I know I went several years without sex. So I'm pretty sure a person can survive.
But this is Arden Lowe, and he's in love with the Sweet Audrina, and there's sexy Vera right there. He couldn't survive. Anyway, she also confronts her dad. She demands that he tell her the truth about the first Audrina. And he tells her, like, some of it. And he confesses that the first and best Audrina had never actually existed. It was this Audrina herself who was gang raped in the woods.
And they've just brainwashed her.
They have brainwashed the fuck out of her.
To mostly forget it.
Yeah.
And not even know how old she is and when things happened. And it was like, she said, but so-and-so happened and I was only 7. And he's... And
like when she met Arden, he's like, yeah, that did happen when you were 7. We let you remember that.
Yeah, and Damien started smiling when she said that. Like, it's all fun and games that they brainwashed her to...
Yeah. But he tells her that because he'd always told her she was so pure and good, unlike the evil and dirty Vera, the rape left her so traumatized that she attempted suicide. She tried to jump out the window of the cupola. Audrina's like, this is fucked up, and runs to the grave, the first Audrina's grave, and Arden follows her, and she, like, starts digging up the grave to see for herself if the body's there or not. And it's fucked up. She and Arden get to a fight, and they have angry sex in the rain.
Yeah, I mean, it was like
traumatic.
It was talking about he like grabs her hands and she starts fighting back. She's not gonna just let herself get controlled by a man or whatever.
Which, I mean, yeah, good for you.
Yeah, so she starts hitting him and
she slaps the shit out of him a bunch.
And then and so they start getting angry, and then she starts clawing him and as all this stuff is happening, then he starts getting aroused.
Because, of course.
Of course. And then...
Because Arden's a literal dick.
And so then she's like, bites it. He tries to kiss her and she bites him. After a few seconds, then she starts kissing him back. And then... Yeah, so
I think this is supposed to be hot and romantic, but...
I bet 13-year-old you liked it.
I don't think I did.
No?
I'm pretty sure. I always knew this was fucked up. Don't you worry. I never thought this was romantic. There was one guy in one of the series who seemed kind of romantic. That I do remember. So then they go back to the house and go to talk to Damien some more. And, she tells him how she didn't find a body, so I guess I believe you, or whatever. And he explains that it was like an attempt to save Audrina from herself, because she was all suicidal. But also makes it about him, and he says, because I couldn't cope with it. To save myself and to save my love for you, I had to make you over into that same chaste little girl who'd never known an ugly deed.
Yeah, and
disgusting.
Has he talked to her about, he had actually taken her to a psychiatrist and something?
Yeah, he takes her and gives her electric shock therapy, essentially.
Electric shock therapy. And then he decides that he could do it better.
Yep. Because he's a fucking narcissist, and so obviously he can do it. I mean, he was upset seeing his daughter, like, shocked in the brain, which, yeah. So I don't blame him for being upset by that, but he's like, no, let me fuck with her head. Hold on, I got this. Yeah. The whole family goes along, aspiring to convince her that she's 2 years younger than she really was, and that the rape had happened to this first Audrina and not against her. And eventually, there was so much repetition of this story and so much fucked upness with, like, deliberately changing the clocks in the house and ripping off calendar pages and days randomly. And, like, she wakes up one day and thinks, like, months have passed or whatever. And so they just roll with that sort of thing and just completely fuck up her mind just to make all her memories unreliable. And, I mean, it works, obviously, because she's been fucked up with time this whole book. Damien says things like, I made you into a virgin again. Maybe I confused things for you a bit, but it was the best I could do. So, as she's listening to all this, she remembers seeing Arden there, and that he witnessed the rape and didn't do anything and ran away. So that means, like, he's also known all this for all these years and has been lying to keep this secret, to keep her chaste and virginal.
Yeah.
Which is also disgusting, so she's pretty mad at him by this point. But she gets more mad at Vera, who appears in the doorway, and she's flooded with all these memories of the morning of the birthday. And she remembers Vera telling her, hey, you should wear your prettiest petticoat. And then on the way to school, she tells her, this is going to be your last good day or something like that. I forget exactly what she said. That you're going to be the good, sweet Audrina. And she realizes that Vera was the only other person who knew she might be coming home through the woods that day. And so she figures out Vera told those boys where to find her. Ugh. So she accuses Vera of doing all this out of jealousy. Vera denies it, of course, but Damien actually fucking believes Audrina and lashes out at Vera.
Because somebody said that somebody in the household had
to have told them.
Yeah, and we always thought it was the boy who cut the hedges.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So
dumb shit.
Obviously it was Vera.
Obviously. And so she's obviously guilty.
And Damien gets all mad and starts going toward her.
Yeah, and she accuses him, like, never acknowledging her, him never acknowledging her as daughter. She says it's his fault Audrina was raped. And yeah, that's why Damien rushes at her, and Vera turns to run, and she slips and falls down the stairs. I mean, it was the stairs, the spiral stairs, the couple of this time, not the same stairs, but still. And they take her to the hospital, but she dies there because she broke basically every bone in her body. And Audrina is jealous at this point because Arden didn't even look at her Audrina before taking Vera to the hospital. It's like, you little bitch, you mad at him anyway. And calm the fuck down. I know this has been a lot. It's been quite a day, but come on. Audrina's, like, in this horrible state, feeling all betrayed. She won't even talk to Arden, which is fair.
And this is the third person who has died in that house from falling downstairs.
Uh-huh. So and Audrina fell down the stairs. She didn't die.
So but obviously the police are like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But Vera actually says no, she fell.
Oh, yeah.
She tripped and fell.
That was her final good deed.
So she's all's forgiven.
Yeah, it's fine.
All's good.
Yeah. But Audrina is still in her feelings for good reason. And she's like, Sylvia and I need to leave this fucking house because it's crazy. Nothing can flourish in this house but pain and tragedy. So she's willing to leave her father and Arden. And she says goodbyes and goes to take Sylvia. And Sylvia's like, no. She's like, this is home, Audrina. Home. And so she's like, well, okay. You stay here with these assholes. I'm gonna go. Cool? Cool. But then, as she's trying to pull out of the drive, she sees Sylvia's face in the window, and she realizes that if or when something happens to Damien, they'll lock Sylvia away forever. Because it will probably be her fault. Because she blinded him and pushed him down the stairs. So she gets out, and Arden's so relieved, and, like, in this one magical moment, she, like, forgives him. Like, Papa's love for me, I'd just done the most noble deed of my life. I was the first and best Audrina who had always put love and loyalty first. There was no place for me to run. Shrugging, feeling sad, yet cleaner than I had since that rainy day in the woods, I felt a certain kind of accepting peace as Arden put his arm around my shoulders. They go back into the house, and Damien and Sylvia are excited and happy. The end.
And they live happily ever after.
It's like the most fucked up, depressing ending. Like, what? So I am kind of curious now, after rereading this, about that sequel that Niederman wrote in 2016, or whenever, the one called just White Fern. I'm kind of curious about it now.
So she had speculated after Vera died that Vera was probably the one who killed her mom.
Oh, right. Yeah, that she had to have been.
And that she was probably, and she was probably the one who was walking out of the door. Mm-hmm. And that she was probably also the one who killed Billy.
I mean,
there's the book.
Overall, if this book wasn't at least some small part of so much shame around rape, I'd be really surprised. I don't know what this book did to our psyches as young girls about rape and reporting it and shit. Because this whole book is about being ashamed and how your family's not going to love you unless you're chaste and pure. And
so like after she was raped by 3 older boys, what her mother did was put her in a scalding hot tub and scrub her with a brush until her skin was coming off.
Yeah.
And she was all, and never went and actually reported the crime at all.
No, and she didn't want Damien to know.
Yeah, she didn't want her.
That was a big thing
because then her dad would be ashamed of her.
Yeah. And, well, I mean, he was. Yeah. So, not wrong. So, yeah, I can't imagine what this did to so many young girls reading this and their thoughts surrounding rape.
Basically rapes her multiple times.
Yeah.
Fun. It's a fun book.
So, do you think there was an actual gift? Like, Damien actually thought there was a gift for her to pick up from the chair?
I think maybe like the gift, like she rocked in the chair probably before, and that was her room.
Well, right.
So I think he was trying to make her think that any memories that she had were psychic connections to the previous Audrina. But why he made her do it over and over again, I don't know.
Well, what I don't understand is why he believed she'd only remember the good thing and wouldn't remember the rape then. That's what's always confused me. So
yeah, I think he was just trying to condition her to think no matter what she remembered that it was all just part of this magic of the chair. Yeah.
A super cool, awesome magic chair. Yeah. So yeah, not appropriate for a 13-year-old in your mind?
Okay, so trivia. The Norwegian band Ancient recorded a song called Audrina My Sweet.
Oh. Huh?
V.C. Andrews drew inspiration for Vera's injuries in the four falls down the stairs from her own fall down a school staircase and subsequent health problems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what in the last episode, it was kind of, we didn't know exactly what all her disabilities were from. What it was that and rheumatoid arthritis together, or it was always pretty mysterious, but yeah.
In late 2015, it was announced My Sweet Audrina would be adapted into a Lifetime film.
Yeah.
And it aired January 9th of 2016.
Yeah, so I watched a couple trailers for it, and man, it looks bad.
Yeah?
Yeah. The entire thing is available on YouTube. Yeah, I'm thinking we need more listeners, more subscribers before we start a Patreon. But yeah, I think some like watch-alongs or something like that on that and like Babysitters Club movie and stuff would be fun incentives to become patrons.
Sure.
So maybe we'll do that sometime, but we need more subscribers. All right, let's move on to happier stuff. What you reading right now?
I finished Girl in the Blue Coat. Oh, that was really good. Basically, it was during World War II, and they were in Nazi-occupied Dutch. Yeah, so this girl's boyfriend joined the army when they lived in Amsterdam. He joined the army when they were first about to be invaded by Germany, and he ended up dying in the initial invasion, along with several thousand. She basically is surviving the war by selling contraband goods. She gets a job with a guy, and her job is to deliver stuff and find stuff for sale that people are willing to pay a lot of money for during the occupation, like cigarettes and things like that. And she ends up getting involved with this one lady who she delivers stuff to was apparently hiding a Jew, and this girl disappeared, and she has asked her to ask around and try to find what happened to her. Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of a mystery book based in that time frame.
Cool. It sounds like I would enjoy that.
It was kind of slow for a while, and then it takes a twist. So the twist was a nice, good ending.
Nice.
The next one was Radio Silence. That was pretty good as well, by Alice Osman. The first was Girl in the Blue Coat by Monica Hesse. Hesse.
Yeah, that sounds Dutch.
I actually listened to the author talking about the book afterwards, and it was based on she had taken a vacation to Amsterdam and had gone to some museums about the occupation, and it was really interesting to her and she started making the book based on that. And then she would try to come up with a situation of something that would happen, and then as she researched it, she would find a lot of these situations where what happened in real life was more interesting than what she was trying to come up with.
Yeah.
So she would just pretty much put that kind of stuff into the book.
Cool.
So it is historical fiction in a lot of senses.
Yeah, I'd probably read that.
Radio Silence was about a girl who is going to this private school, and she's really into academics, and she's becoming the head girl of her school, and her whole deal is she's working toward getting into Cambridge for English Lit, even though you figure out through the book she has no love for English Lit, that her real love is she's really into this podcast.
Oh.
That's a story, and the main character in the story is Radio. Her name, it really doesn't say if it's a he or she. It has an androgynous voice, and their name is Radio. And she ends up figuring out that this other guy who's best friends with the head boy at her school is really the one who's putting on this podcast.
Sure.
And they end up living right across the street from each other. So she becomes real involved with that, and stuff happens.
Stuff happens?
Stuff happens.
What?
But it's a good story.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That sounds good. It sounds like I'd read both those.
And right now I'm reading Kingdom of Ash and Briars. And so far I'm not that impressed.
Oh, no. As well as still working 3 pages a night.
3 pages a night.
On Neil Stephenson's Fall.
Because I'm just too tired.
I know.
I wish I had an audiobook for him.
I know.
Although I'd probably miss stuff, because I do miss stuff in books as I'm working a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
So I'd rather read this one anyway.
Yeah, that's true, because it's very, very good one.
Even if it takes me a long time.
But guess what? We have my infusion on Friday, and we're going to be just sitting there for like 5 hours or so.
True.
So you should get a lot of reading done. You can probably read this week's book and some of that. I read the Adventure Zone graphic novel, and it was wonderful, and it's perfect, and I just highly recommend everybody read it. Murder on the Rockport Limited, the second graphic novel for the Adventure Zone, based on the Adventure Zone podcast, which is just wonderful. I can't love it more. So after I finished that, I've started reading The Orphan Keeper by Cameron Wright. It's based on a true story, and it's a lot like the movie Lion, where this Indian boy is kidnapped and sold to a Christian orphanage and then adopted by a couple in the U.S. And he can't speak English for a long time, but when he does, he, tells them, he's like, hey, I got this family in India. I'm not an orphan. But I'm barely into it yet. I'm in just a few chapters. I didn't read much this weekend because we stayed up late every night. But I'm enjoying it so far. Remember, we're doing a birthday giveaway through the end of the month. But this is your last reminder on the actual podcast. If you like or share any of our social media posts, or especially review us on Apple Podcasts, each time you do gives you an entry to win, I'm thinking, a half-price books gift card or a local equivalent wherever you live. So you have through July 31st, so get to posting and sharing. And you can find all of our social medias on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, YouTube, and Pinterest at Fighting Over the Card Catalog, and on Twitter at Card Catalog Pod. Or you can check me out personally at Just Digress on the Twitters. But you can find links to all this on our website, fightingoverthecardcatalog.com. But yeah, I'm just going to say one more time, please review us on Apple Podcasts. Subscribe at all the podcast places. And email us if you'd like at fightingoverthecardcatalog at gmail.com. So our next book, we're going to lighten it up and get back to our wonderful Anastasia Krupnik with Anastasia Again by Lois Lowry. We're rereading the books of your childhood,
so you don't have to.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.